GM, welcome into the WGMI morning show. How's it going, Clemente?
Good. How are you, man? Episode 7.
Episode 7. That's a week worth.
Yep. So we're moving, baby. We're moving, guys. Welcome into the WGMI morning show, where we bring you everything and anything you need to know about the NFT market in 30 minutes or less. We use some of WGMI's various tools as well to provide you some additional insights as to how this might affect your portfolio, and try to provide you some sort of competitive advantage there, where you can try to act on some of the things we're providing you and hopefully make some money along the way. If you like some of the stuff that we're seeing, that we're showing you using WGMI's tools, if you can DM us the word newsfeed, you can enter for a chance to win a 7-day trial to use all of our tools risk-free. Some of the broader market stories we'll be talking about today later on in the show. We had ETH dumping after the post-Fed meeting. It hovered in the low 1200s, and it caused Bored Apes to go below $100,000 for the first time since July 3rd. So we'll be getting into that and what it means for the broader NFT market later on. We have Azuki and Beans continuing to run. They've had quite a week. Azuki is now sitting at a 12 ETH floor, and that's the highest it has been since July 20th. So kind of a complete opposite there compared to the apes. And the new Cool Cat CEO was announced, and as was expected going into it. I know Red Sox guy, our Cool Cat's curator, was talking to us about what to expect there. The market reacted favorably to it, and we'll see. We'll go into the numbers and what that might mean for Cool Cats going forward. Diving into a little bit more of the specifics and the numbers behind yesterday's activity, we had OpenC's volume at $11.7 million. ETH bottomed out at 1230 yesterday. It saw like a weird pump for about 30 seconds to a minute. It was almost hit the 1400s, but then started to dip, and now settling in at the mid 1200s.
I remember you jumping in there. You were saying, "Oh, look! It looks like the Fed news was good. Check it out. We ran to 1400, and then all of a sudden the jinx set in."
Yeah, so it wasn't ideal. But look, I think, Ray, I know we were talking about this yesterday. I'd love for you to kind of cover maybe what you saw, and if that was kind of what you were expecting yesterday.
Yeah, I honestly was expecting a bit of a run if we saw, a 75 basis point hike. I think it was 80% chance of that, 20% chance of, a full percentage point. But we did see, the 75% or the 0.75 increase. Listening a bit to his remarks afterwards, it seems like there isn't an end in sight. It's kind of the same run around. Hey, we'll continue to look at the data. We'll continue to adjust. There are no plans to slow down. There are no plans to stop. We're going to let the data dictate. So the tune hasn't changed. So at this point, it's not looking like we've quite reached max inflation. We haven't started to see some of the market action necessary to start, leaving the interest rates where they are and eventually, decreasing them. So definitely something to watch out for coming up on the next meeting in a few months. I'm sure we'll see, wild price action up until that one as well. So kind of a wait and see right now. And, I don't think that there is a positive catalyst to come, at least not over the next few months, in terms of the Fed and the macro in general.
Yeah, it definitely looks like we have a little bit more bleeding or just this lower activity type of market for the next few months, as people are obviously as fear goes up, these riskier assets are it's no good for them. Look, I know we have a lot of non kind of curated ecosystem news to go into today, that I'm excited to go into. Ray, I'd love for you to take it from here. I have some stuff from the market overview point of view that we'll touch on later today or later on this show, as far as some numbers, some potentially undervalued projects and what that might mean. Is it time to dive in and just diving into the fundamentals of that? But I'll let you take it from here.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. So today we're going to be touching on roughly 15 news items that are relevant, that have surfaced over the last 24 hours or are relevant to today. I'll be just touching on some headlines for some of these. We'll be moving through these a bit quicker today than we normally do. If you're interested in reading more, you can access our news feed, WGMI.io. You can mint your all access pass there and take a look, see more details, follow some links out. But in terms of the content, I'll be diving deep into some of these, and some of these I'll just be giving you just the headlines. So if you want more information, you know where to find it. So starting off, we have Vulcan Forge raising a $8 million VC round. They're an NFT gaming studio. This is a Series A fund. They've been around for a few years now. They have 200,000 players across 15 games. Interesting. I haven't heard of this company beforehand. I was looking into them a bit yesterday when I saw this news. Definitely interesting to see what they built there and see how they're going to be using these funds. Like they're developing some sort of like massive multiplayer online game called Vulcan Forge. So one to keep an eye on. I couldn't find any way to, directly get into those assets. They have like kind of their own marketplace that there was a good amount of friction. I didn't really understand much, but something I'm going to be diving a bit deeper in over the weekend to kind of get an idea of what's going on there and why that raise occurred. Here's a name I haven't heard in a long time is the Smiles. They released a tweet this morning. It's just a very short GIF of a woman looking out the window. There really wouldn't be much relevant to this outside of they haven't posted on the Twitter since July 6th, I believe. And that was just like a warning about a scam. There hasn't been news from this project for a while. It's one that, did see some action. I think it ran over 1 ETH in January. But if he's coming back and can start, pushing this project further or show what he's been working on, it could be an interesting entry point for that project for sure.
This would be something that I totally would have missed if not for the news feed, because they haven't done anything and it only got 18 likes. It's been up for an hour. So it seems like, hey, they haven't posted for a month. It's not like Doodles or people are kind of like, hey, what's going on here? I know their floor is sitting at like 0.1, but look, they have their TV show coming out still. I know they signed a deal with Time Studios, so that's definitely something to keep in mind. I know the creator and the artist behind it took some time off to kind of relax a little bit, and he's been saying that he's getting back into the swing of things. So could be interesting to watch this play out here. I know only 4% are listed, could be a low risk play, something to monitor over the next few days for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there hasn't been a sale since that tweet. The first time it's reached out in a while. I may end up trying to pick one or two of these up today after we get off here for sure. Just gotta get some funds into the hot wallet, but definitely one to keep an eye out for. It caught our eye this morning. Moving on though, Overlord, formerly known as Creeps, they're partnering with, it seems, ex CEOs and ex people from other companies. They're saying they're partners. I don't know exactly how that works if they no longer work at these companies, but they did post a tweet about this and how they're trying to compete with the streetwear brand Supreme. Guttercast, it's your claim window is kind of closing up here. We'll remind you of this again tomorrow, but the claim window closes tomorrow for the merch from GutterCon. Atom Bomb Squad added some new different assets to their shirt offering. So you can order shirts with these different assets on it. They added some more. They had a limited number before. They're increasing the number of assets and the types of bombs that are shown on these shirts. And like we said earlier, their royalties are going back to holders for these sales. OK Bears announced an airdrop incoming. There's going to be a series of online campaigns, and there's going to be some sort of limited edition airdrop of 1,000 NFTs to the most successful participants, maybe taking a page out of the Utes book, trying to mobilize their holders, get them to do some sharing and some guerrilla marketing. So keep an eye out for that. I'm sure there's going to be some interesting news and maybe a little bit of a social media takeover on the OK Bear side, something to watch for sure on the Solana side of things. Coinbase announced that they are going to start aggregating listings from other marketplaces. They're going to be starting with OpenC and LooksRare listings. Hopefully, or I guess they're hoping at least, that this will drive more traffic to their marketplace. That people can go into Coinbase and buy the cheaper listings that are generally on other marketplaces. It can drive more traffic there, and you can utilize some of their the other collector tools that exist over there that don't exist on these other platforms. I think they're going for more of a social aspect over there, where you have a profile, you can kind of interact with different NFTs, message other sellers, etc. So something to look out for over there, something I'll be checking out as that develops. I think they've continued to iterate. I know they've gotten a lot of flack for the lack of volume over there and the lack of innovative features, but something to keep an eye on for sure. A company of Coinbase's size with their resources could definitely, become a player in the NFT marketplace space. If you hold a possess, there's an allow list opportunity we linked to here for the Yu Gi Yin project. We'll have the link here available to possessed holders. We had some news coming out of Daigaku from the holder. It looks like their Spirit Adventures starting this week, and an airdrop has also been teased by their founder. We'll give you more details on these as they break. If you are holding the Royal Society of Players tokens, there is currently a tournament going on in their arcade. I think it's poker and maybe a few other games. I'm not sure exactly, but if you go onto their site and enter their room there, you can see the different tournaments that are going on. Like we touched on before, we have the new CEO of Cool Cats. We'll dive into it a bit deeper, but his name is Steven Teglas. He was formerly from Disney, Recur, Warner Brothers, now the CEO of Cool Cats. Had a lot of experience in branding and partnerships and IP. And we'll dig a bit into that after the news. We did have a talk with Red Sox guy and K-Duck last night on his Spaces and unpacked what that hiring means for Cool Cats. A little bit of a throwback here. National Lampoon is releasing an NFT, reportedly dropping October 26th from the well-known comedy troupe. It'll provide access to written film content for some avid fans. They do have some good Web3 advisors, Jimmy.eth being one of them, something I'm keeping my eye on, and we'll keep you updated as we do with all the upcoming drops that we think do have promise, do present an opportunity to investors in the Web3 space. Another reminder here, 10KTF mission, the registration closes today, 3 p.m. Pacific, noon Eastern. I need to make sure I remember to send out my 10KTF assets. Keep that one unread for a bit until I get that done. Hopefully get that done right after our show today. OpenC, we talked about the C drop launch with OMG Kirby a few days ago. That's launching today, I believe, for the first allow list. You've seen they changed up their homepage a bit. They're providing a good amount of visibility when you go right to WG or OpenC.io. And it looks like we're starting in about 16 minutes. So right after this is the first phase of the mint for the OMG Genesis holders. Interesting to see how this will play out, where the volume will kind of fall for this, how the mint will go. I'll have to look at how many OMG Genesis holders there are, see how many have been minted, see how many of these people are active and still realize they have this opportunity. Definitely something to keep.
I will say that it looks
sure.
good. I like how it looks. I like the time. Like maybe we're just used to at least I'm just used to the OpenC UI and kind of how this interface is, but it looks appealing to me from a minter's point of view.
Yeah, there's definitely a good amount of design work that's went into this. You can tell, very well done, professional, really showcasing the assets and making it, providing enough information to keep it simple. Links to the team, little bits on them, FAQ for the different questions you may have about the project. So interesting platform. Curious, like we said before, is this going to be more of a curated project, or is it going to be like a free for all where anyone can kind of use the platform, but maybe they'll feature one or two a day? So keeping my eye out there, going to watch this, see how the success of this mint goes. Another upcoming drop we surfaced a few weeks back, the Chicago Bull, the ROX drop. There's 23 of these reimagined Chicago Bulls logos that are going to be going off for auction today. The logos are all on the Coinbase right now. Auction starting soon. You can see all of the different reimagined Bulls logos here. Pretty cool. Be interested to see what some of these go for, see how much traffic it drives over to Coinbase. I know there's a good amount of NBA overlap with NFTs, so this will be interesting to see and to see kind of who's buying these.
I was not gonna lie, I was a little disappointed by. I was looking at the Bulls social media, and I haven't seen a single tweet come out of them. I haven't checked in 24 hours, so maybe hopefully they posted something about it, but nothing, no word has come from like the official Bulls Twitter or Instagram, and they've got millions of followers, which would have been nice to see.
That's cool. It's a nice piece by Claire Silver there. Yeah. So that wraps up the news for today. I know we're going to touch on some other pieces a bit deeper. Some news that came out this morning. There was another large Fidenza sweep. Um, Someone bought 4 more Fidenzas this morning. Same wallet that bought 3 yesterday. Now totaling 7 Fidenzas across this mystery wallet. A lot of ETH went into funding this wallet. It's a very impressive wallet in general. You can see, they have a great mix of, blue chip assets here, tons of squiggles, etc. I brought this wallet up just to kind of get an idea of what they're holding. And you're just valuing everything they own at the project floor. You're looking at, 3 million valuation at least. That's not even factoring any of the traits. If you go through some of these assets that may or may not be floor assets, you can adjust by the traits. I know some of the squiggles that they own are more rare. So those ones could command a bit of a premium, but we're looking at 50 squiggles, 7 Fidenzas, 10 punks, 200 World of Women, 110 loot. So this wallet is holding quite a large amount of these blue chip assets. One of the cool features about WGMI, if you do have our pass, you can look up any wallet you want. You can do research. You can see what these people have paid for these assets in an easy to view manner. You can see up, down, look at all the trait floors and see detailed information. So if you're looking at some of these wallets, looking to see what else they're into, what else they've been buying, it's a very good tool to do that with. Yeah, this is kind of like goals here. I would love a wallet like this. How about you?
I would too, but that total net, obviously, we're not taking into account some of the like traits and some of the rares that they might hold. But that's not ideal to be down 6 million.
Yeah, I mean, the price of ETH probably factoring in a good amount of this. I'm sure the loot
Right.
bags are down pretty bad based on where they purchase them. I bet that's one of the bigger drops. Half of their losses are coming from loot themselves.
Well,
So
you look at ETH, and they might actually be profitable from the value point, from like an ETH point of view. They're just down on the USD because you look at the total cost, right around 3,000, and yeah, they're only down.
and they're down
Oh,
400.
no, they're not.
Yeah,
Oh,
they're
never mind.
down a bit of ETH, but
just 400 ETH.
yeah, but still an impressive collection. I think over the long term, I have no doubts that can turn around. A bull market will flip that in a second, as these are all like high end blue chip assets. So everyone's experiencing, I think, the same pain right now. Anyone who's been holding long term, it's just a matter of when we can turn around and see these numbers go up again, which I think is coming. I think it's just a matter of time. But moving away there, we also had the hedge reveal. I don't know if you looked into these at all on the dashboard. But there's been a bit of price action. I think they were around 2 ETH pre-reveal.
Yeah,
They
and
dropped
they're
down, I think,
leading.
as low as 1.4.
They're leading OpenC. So sorry, they're leading the market dashboard today in daily volume. They have done 700 ETH in volume over the last 24 hours. I thought they reached a high of 3 ETH. So they're moving, but the listings over 40% are listed right now, which usually happens post reveal.
That's wild. 40% is very high. I guess, small collection size, and these are pretty specific to your vibe, I imagine. If, I ended up with a lot of these, I would probably be listing and looking to swap into a different one. If it was something I wanted to hold long term, but pretty wacky. They have crazy names, pretty cool project, pretty cool art, and from somebody who's pretty culturally relevant, being the creator of the Pepe meme, the original Pepe meme. So something I think is going to do well long term. I think we're going to see a lot of odd ones at the floor for a while. I think we'll see the listings high, but I think they're going to slowly kind of decrease as people become more interested in this project. But moving on, I know you talked about some big news today about all the headlines, Cool Cats, Azuki, and the Apes. Would love to hear your takes and hear a bit about what you've seen there.
Yeah. So, well, first thing I want to dive into is Cool Cats. So yesterday they announced their new CEO, ex-president of Recur. I think he's switched positions with them a couple times, but have 25 years of experience with Warner Bros. A lot of licensing stuff there. But what I look at it was from a market point of view. How did it react to it? Over here we have the Cool Cats floor since August 1st, and it is back at that August 1st level as far as the floor price goes. It is interesting to see this climb and how fast it happened. But it wasn't like this pump started actually like a week ago. So it's kind of interesting seeing like the speculation that did come up when Cool Cats were announcing that they were going to have a town hall on a Wednesday, which is not what they usually do. You go over here and a lot of green here over the last 7 days, 250 sales, 700 ETH in volume. Floor is sitting at 2.93, which is really encouraging to see. I'm really excited for the Cool Cats. I think this is what they needed, and this will be really good for them over the long term. Like, I can't really now put a finger on like, hey, this is what Cool Cats is not doing right. It was before. It was like, man, they're trying to get into gaming and it wasn't going well. They have poor communications. But now it seems like, hey, they've kind of righted the ship. The community seems excited. Listings did go back up, which is kind of expected after these kinds of pumps. But definitely encouraging to see. And I really enjoyed that conversation yesterday with our Cool Cats curator, Red Sox guy.
Yeah, definitely. I know there was a little bit of FUD being that this guy came straight from Recur, which has had some, long-term unsuccessful drops. But looking at his work there, he did a lot of, Web 2 IP, even like pre-Web 2 companies, doing these licensing deals with, Turtles, Hello Kitty, the Rugrats, Hey Arnold, all of those different, big IP brands. So hopefully you can use some of that experience pushing Cool Cats, as that, IP, having that blue cat be universally recognizable.
Absolutely. Yeah. And, with as far as the Recur discussion goes, I'm on the same page. I'm like, man, like these guys basically just took $4 million and called it a day. But at the same time, like, is it Recur's responsibility to make that and manage the project? Like, whose fault is it? And obviously Recur has some sort of responsibility there, but when you're a profit oriented business and you're what you want to do is make money, and maybe they're like, hey, this is much utility as like you buying a poster. So just interesting to see that play out. But yeah, I mean, look, it will be one of the things that I'm definitely watching for is like, I think he'll bring a lot of corporate structure, which is much needed in these kinds of startups. And I love how he can definitely push like you said, licensing of that blue cat. But look, it's a totally different shift going from corporate or doing what you're doing at Recur to now you're in the weeds every single day with this project. You have to deal with a community that gets unhappy sometimes, that like, so it's difficult to do these types of things, which is what I realized. So it'll definitely be an interesting case study to see this. Hopefully, I wish the Cats the best going forward. This chart is something I really wanted to show people. Azuki, who had their highest floor price, now sitting at a 12 ETH floor since July 20th. I want to compare Beans and Azuki. Ray, I'm curious what you think, because we have the Azuki world being further revealed to us tomorrow in the morning. And you look at the two different price points, and Beans are now bleeding. They got up to like 1.25, but they're back down to a 1.1 ETH floor. But they're still a tenth of the Azuki floor. I'm curious what your take is on this. Like, if you feel like, hey, they're possibly still undervalued with Azuki having pumped a good amount and Beans still being that 1/10, like Owen was telling us, our Azuki curator. Is this a chance to get a really discounted deal, especially if they do this mechanic of burning two Beans to get into a new collection?
Yeah, so a couple thoughts on that. I mean, if you look at the graph there, Beans was running, 0.4 to 0.5 range. It's already 2x. So it's kind of closing the gap on Azuki a bit at 2x. Azuki didn't quite 2x from some of those numbers. They were sitting around 8 ETH. Now they're up just over 10 ETH. So they are closing that gap a bit. And what ONG, our curator, has said is, the Azuki community is looking at Beans as kind of like the Bored Ape Kennel Club to the Bored Ape Yacht Club. And if you look at, Bored Ape Kennel Club versus Bored Ape Yacht Club, you are trading at that, 1/10 premium. They believe that there's some other collection out there that still hasn't been released. We still haven't heard about for Azuki that's going to be kind of that mutant, that 1/5 collection. And it may be that you're burning, I think if you're putting all these steps together, you're saying, okay, well, this is the Kennel Club. There's all these rumors about burning Beans potentially. If you're burning two Beans to make something new, that's potentially, at that 1/5 value of the Azuki floor. So something that I'm sure people are speculating on, and that's probably why that's jumped up to get to that 1/10 value. We've also seen a good amount of movement on Bobu as well. Bobu's, over 2x. I think it's sitting at 0.08 right now. Such an odd project to look at with the market cap there. 50K of those, and the floor they hold is, I think it's valuing the bean, or valuing the Azuki. It's fractionalizing at 400
Right.
ETH or so. When I mean, obviously it's an important Azuki, being that it's fractionalized. It is Babu, but I mean, still a crazy market cap there. And as that price moves, it's definitely interesting to see, like, can it sustain there, just because it is the cheapest entry point. Like, if you go back, it really pumped.
It made it to 0.8. That's insane.
Yeah. It went wild for one day back there. I forget exactly what the news was. I think I sold off a couple of them on the way up there, which was nice. I'm still holding a few of those, just to have a little bit of a piece of the Azuki ecosystem. But definitely one to watch. Doesn't make sense rationally, but as being as cheap of an entry point as it is, I could see people just jumping into it because of that. Hey, I want to buy a piece of Azuki, but I can't afford a bean. Something
Right.
to look out for there as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, and going forward, yeah, go ahead.
No, sorry. Yeah, you can go ahead. Then I'll jump in again. I just don't want you to move forward off Azuki yet. We got a little bit more to drop.
Okay, no, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, awesome. So with this price pump, we have looked at, okay, what are the catalysts around it? We've seen kind of rumors about the beans burn. We know that Azuki World is being kind of unveiled a bit more tomorrow, based on some hints on the previous page with the alley and the calendar. Also, there's been rumors behind the scenes of a VC raise. Like, some people were speculating over $1 billion in terms of valuation, which would be wild. And one of the bigger valuations we've seen, could be responsible for part of this pump. There was an article that was put out that named a few sources close to the deal. It said it's probably closer to 300 million, but that VC raise also could be adding a bit to this price movement. So we could see announcement of a VC raise, a bit of a pump, and then what we kind of have seen historically over the past few announcements, it's been like VC raise, pump into it, and by the end of the next day, it was already pumped out.
We'll definitely be able to watch that, and I mean, yeah, people have been saying that it's over $1 billion valuation, and a lot more. With Doodles getting a $700 million valuation, that wouldn't surprise me, to be honest with you. Like, I look at, hey, what's brought in more revenue, Azuki or Doodle? And I think Azuki is definitely up there. Going on to the Bored Apes. I mean, look, I'd love to look at and share this graph with you, Ray, because they're an interesting part, especially when you look at the whole Yuga together, not including other side. Because what's interesting here is, so they had a $100,000 floor right now, and they haven't seen low of a floor since. So you look, they're 96,000. You have to go all the way back to, and this isn't even right. Sorry, 1 second. Let me see here, because maybe I'm totally off. But my overall point is, like, hey, as much as this isn't great to see, and nothing against the apes, I think anything we can get, the farther along we can get away from relying on Yuga as the main leader of it, where it's like, hey, if Yuga doesn't succeed, none of us succeed. I think that's an overall positive for the space, and shows that maybe we are maturing a little bit. I'm curious what your takes are on that, Ray. But you look at the floor here, and this is just the USD value of apes. They haven't been this low. Yeah, it's at 96,000 right now. They haven't been this since. No, they didn't hit that there. It was last July at, yeah, right here. So July 2nd. So it's wild to see. And that was when everything was kind of coming crashing down. As we can see, it went from all the way up here being 160,000 to little under 100,000 in just a span of like 3 days.
Yeah, definitely crazy to see. I think a lot of this is backed by ETHs, and these assets are, a leverage bet on ETH itself. So as ETH performs negatively, I think we're going to see the USD value, drop off. I don't think we're going to see that kind of correction where like, hey, these are assets that should be worth $150,000 regardless of the price of ETH. And I think that's kind of played itself out. As ETH is volatile, we're not seeing these crazy, volatile swings in the NFTs. We're generally just seeing kind of a slowed downturn in terms of their ETH value. If we could get an extended period of, steady ETH price, we haven't really had one in a while. We're saying we're steady for a day or 2 days or a week, but we're not really seeing that period where we like find a range, sit in between it, and then really let the NFTs kind of run to whatever value that people may deem they're worth.
Right. When you look at the ETH actual floor price of these collections, these blue chips, most of them are staying steady. So it is, granted, around 2 ETH, but you look at mutants, they're up 2 ETH over the last 7 days. So it's not like, hey, part of not necessarily anything that Yuga's doing wrong. It's more of just showing the state of the market. I think. In other news, other things that I think could be noticeable, and what I'm watching for today was interesting to see. Remember these fish bowls, Ray? They're sitting at 0.1 ETH now. So proud we didn't get into that one.
Yep. We're definitely watching those. Didn't see. I think we talked about it. We said, maybe we'll pass here. I think we said the same. Renga, we figured that was a local top when we were covering that at 2 ETH.
So this was, and we called this one correctly, and we've been kind of calling for like, hey, it's going to continue to bleed as long as these listings continue to go up, which they have been. But yesterday was the first day where that didn't happen. So it might be time to say, hey, maybe Renga is not like, this could be time for a rally. Like you saw them finally steady. And now the listings are starting to go down, which is encouraging. Still 170 sales a day, over 150 ETH in daily volume, which is encouraging to see. You look at beans, these listings are in the red, which is not ideal. The other thing that I'd be looking for today, look, Ray, to be honest with you, I'm pretty much just sitting on my hands today. A little bit of this turmoil just has me on like sit and watch mode. Like I don't really hands into anything other than I did get into V Friends yesterday, which was just kind of steadying, but like I don't really expect anything big to happen there. So I'm kind of in wait and see mode, trying to stack ETH. I did sell a couple things, but other than that, I don't have anything today where I'm like, hey, this is something I'm looking to get into, which is maybe not great for the market.
Yeah, I think we're kind of in that mode right now. Liquidate assets that you can, wait and see. Make sure you have, capital on the sideline to jump in if there is an opportunity that presents itself, for sure. I kind of talked a bit about what I was watching earlier, and I was looking at the Hedge Reveal, looking at Fidenza, seeing if there's any movement, any additional listings there throughout the day. One project that's caught my eye that I haven't talked much about yet on the show is Gangster All-Star Evolution. This came out about the same time as Renga, maybe a little earlier. It's unrevealed. It's a long reveal process. I think it's 5 weeks. They're going to reveal in different stages. They're going to turn into like weapons and then some sort of contract, and then eventually your kind of guy in like your NFT that's in whatever respective gang that is. The art on it's cool. It reminded me of Renga. I kind of placed a bet as Renga was running up. I didn't want to jump into Renga, but I saw these. Still unrevealed. Good art.
Is that same kind of forward facing?
Exactly. PFP. So I was hoping to kind of capitalize into these. I swept a few of these around 0.3, just kind of watching. It's gonna be a slow reveal, but there will be a few catalysts. Like I said, multiple reveals along the stage with a potential to exit out into a pump into any of these. So one, I'm watching, looking for news, making sure that I'm aware of when these reveals happen and when there would be potential volume jumping into this project. But that's just about it for what I'm keeping my eye on today. Like I think I'm similar to you. I'm listing a few assets fairly aggressively, trying to build some more capital right now, being able to jump into some of these projects and flip in and out as kind of the market shows opportunities.
Absolutely. Yeah, that reminds me, I need to sell my my crypto smedgy. That was not an ideal entry. I mean, they're doing fine. It's just, I mean, there's nothing coming out of it, and I don't even understand what's going on in there. Like, I can't jump into spaces because they're speaking Chinese in there, so it's not ideal because I don't really understand what's going on. But anyways, guys, look, this might have been our shortest show yet. We're getting better at trying to get towards that 30-minute mark. Guys, thank you everyone for watching. Please join our Discord if you have any questions or feedback, what you liked about the show, what you didn't like about the show. If you liked what you saw from a WGMI tools point of view, feel free to DM us the word newsfeed for a chance to win a 7-day trial. If you do win, you can try all of these tools that you see risk-free, and you have Ray and I as your personal assistants to help you use this tool.
We're gonna absolutely jump in our Discord, ask any questions you want. You want to jump on a voice call, I can share screen, I can walk you through whatever you need. So all hands on deck. We'll be able to, give you a hand, help you out, walk you through any questions you may have on the tool.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've been giving, like, some of the people that have won the free trial from this show have been giving us nothing but positive reviews. It's been great to see and what their feedback is like, as far as like, hey, this is what I would like to see you guys do next as you build this tool out. So yeah, if you want to be one of those people that wants to try it out, feel free to DM us, and we'll let you know if you win. And catch us tomorrow at 7:30 a.m., the same time, for your 30-minute market roundup. And tomorrow morning, afternoon for Eastern time, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, we're going to be doing our weekly market talk. This is where we sit down with some of our contributors and go over some of the latest market news in a broader sense and get more specific on what's been going on with some of these project roundups. So you don't want to miss that to get caught up on what you need to know.
Awesome. Well, thank you for listening. Clemente, thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you for providing all the insight you do. Great show again, as always, and we'll see you tomorrow.